Everyone wants to look rich. Smart people want to stay rich. There's a certain kind of car buyer who ignores the badge, ignores the Instagram flex, and just looks at the numbers. Reliability, resale value, cost per mile. And weirdly, they almost always end up in the same 5 brands. If you've ever wondered why your most financially savvy friend, the one who maxes out their 401k and never carries a credit card balance, drives something that looks kind of boring, this video is going to explain everything. Stick around, because brand number 1 might genuinely surprise you. Quick note before we start, this isn't a which car is fastest list. This is about long-term value, reliability data, depreciation curves, and total cost of ownership. The boring stuff that actually matters to your bank account. Let's get into it. Number 1, and this one's almost a cliche at this point, Toyota. Here's why smart buyers keep coming back. Toyota has built its entire brand identity around a single word: dependability. Independent reliability surveys year after year put Toyota near the top, and it's not because of luck. It's because Toyota is famously conservative with new technology. They let other brands beta test flashy new engines, transmissions, and infotainment systems, work out the bugs on someone else's warranty budget, and only bring the proven, boring, bulletproof version into their own lineup years later. That sounds unglamorous. It is unglamorous. But it means fewer recalls, fewer check engine light after 40,000 mile surprises, and a resale value that barely budges. A 5-year-old Camry or RAV4 holds its value shockingly well compared to almost anything else in its class, often retaining 60% or more of its original price, while plenty of competitors have already dropped below half.
Take the Corolla. It's not exciting. Nobody's putting a Corolla poster on their bedroom wall. But it's also one of the most produced, most refined vehicles on the planet, with a design and engineering pedigree that's been iterated on for decades. The same logic applies up the lineup. The Camry's 4-cylinder and hybrid powertrains are so well proven that fleet buyers, rideshare drivers, and taxi companies, people whose literal livelihood depends on a car not breaking down, choose it disproportionately. That's not marketing. That's people voting with their wallets in the highest stakes way possible. And then there's the RAV4, which has become almost the default answer to what SUV should I buy if I never want to think about my SUV again. Here's the part most people miss, though. Toyota's advantage isn't really about any single car. It's about the ecosystem. Because so many Toyotas are still running after 15, 20, even 25 years, there's a massive secondhand parts market, an army of independent mechanics who've serviced these engines 1,000 times over, and diagnostic knowledge that's basically public domain at this point. You're not just buying a reliable car, you're buying into an entire infrastructure built around keeping that car cheap to maintain for decades. The smart money logic here is simple. You're not buying a car. You're buying 200,000 plus miles of not thinking about your car. And that peace of mind has a real dollar value most buyers never calculate. Number 2, Honda. Honda and Toyota get compared constantly, and for good reason. They're chasing the exact same buyer with a slightly different pitch. Where Toyota's whole identity is, we changed nothing, so nothing broke, Honda's identity is, we engineered this so well that it doesn't need to change much. It's a subtle difference, but it matters.
Honda's reputation is built on engineering efficiency, squeezing excellent performance and fuel economy out of relatively simple, well-tested designs, rather than piling on complexity to chase horsepower numbers. Their 4-cylinder engines in particular have a decades-long reputation for being almost absurdly durable when properly maintained. Stories of Honda engines crossing 300,000 or even 400,000 miles aren't rare internet legends. They're common enough that mechanics barely blink at them anymore. The Civic and Accord specifically have some of the strongest long-term reliability track records of any car sold in North America across multiple generations. And this is where the smart buyer logic kicks in. Because so many of them are still on the road after 15 to 20 years, there's a massive installed base. That means parts are everywhere. Junkyards, aftermarket suppliers, OEM replacements, and prices for those parts stay competitive because supply is abundant. It also means basically every independent mechanic in North America has serviced a Civic or Accord at some point. There's no learning curve, no "we need to send this out to a specialist" moment. Repairs are fast, well understood, and priced accordingly. The CR-V deserves a mention here too. It's quietly become one of the most dependable compact SUVs on the market, combining that same engineering philosophy with genuinely useful cargo space, and a driving experience that doesn't feel like a compromise. There's also a resale angle. Hondas depreciate slower than the industry average, largely because secondhand buyers actively seek them out for the same reliability reasons new buyers do. That creates a kind of virtuous cycle. Strong demand at every stage of the car's life, which keeps values propped up from day one all the way to the junkyard. Smart buyers don't just think about the sticker price. They think about parts availability and mechanic familiarity 10 years down the line, when the warranty is long gone and every repair comes straight out of pocket. Honda wins that particular game almost every time, which is exactly why it keeps showing up on financially literate buyer shortlists generation after generation.
Number 3 might raise an eyebrow, because at first glance, it seems to break the whole boring and cheap pattern we've been building. Lexus. Yes, it's a luxury brand. Yes, it costs more upfront than a Camry or an Accord. But hear out the logic, because this is where a lot of financially smart buyers get genuinely clever. Lexus is Toyota's luxury division. Full stop. Underneath the nicer leather, the quieter cabin, and the more refined badge, you're often looking at a platform, a powertrain, or an engineering philosophy that traces directly back to the same conservative, over-tested approach that makes Toyota so dependable in the first place. That matters enormously once you compare it to the alternative. Say you want a genuinely nice, comfortable, feature-rich car. Leather seats, a smooth ride, a quiet cabin, real luxury brand cachet. Your other options are typically German or British luxury marks, and here's the uncomfortable truth about those brands. They're often engineered to impress on day one, not necessarily to survive affordably to year 10. Complex air suspension systems, intricate electronics, and specialized parts that only certain dealerships stock all add up. Once the factory warranty expires, out-of-warranty repair and maintenance costs on a lot of European luxury vehicles can be dramatically higher than what you'd pay on almost anything else on the road. A single suspension or electronics repair can rival what a Lexus owner pays for an entire year of maintenance costs. Lexus sidesteps almost all of that. Because it shares so much DNA with Toyota's engineering culture, it tends to need the shop far less often. And when it does, the repairs are usually more straightforward and less catastrophically expensive than what you'd face with a comparable European competitor. Models like the ES and RX have built loyal followings specifically among buyers who've owned both a Lexus and a European luxury car, and who quietly switched after getting tired of unpredictable repair bills. It's not a knock on performance or driving dynamics, it's purely a total cost of ownership calculation.
It's the financially literate way to enjoy nice things. Get 90%, sometimes 95% of the luxury experience, the comfort, the tech, the badge, without signing up for the long-term financial trap that can come with certain luxury ownership. Smart money doesn't avoid nice things. It just refuses to overpay for the privilege of maintaining them. Number 4 is the one people sleep on, Mazda. If Toyota and Honda are the obvious answers your accountant would give you, Mazda is the answer from the friend who actually did a spreadsheet before buying their last car. It's the brand that consistently gets mentioned by people who researched way more than they needed to and came away surprised. Here's the thing about Mazda. For years, it was positioned as a slightly sportier, slightly more stylish alternative in the same price bracket as Honda and Toyota. But something shifted over the last decade. Mazda started making a very deliberate push toward what they call premiumization, taking interior materials, fit and finish, and design details that you'd normally only see in cars costing significantly more and putting them into mainstream models like the Mazda 3 and CX-5. Sit in a modern Mazda interior next to a same-priced competitor, and the difference in perceived quality is often immediately obvious. Stitched dash panels, tighter panel gaps, a more cohesive design language throughout.
But this isn't just about looking nice. Mazda's reliability scores have also become consistently strong in independent surveys, closing the gap with the traditional reliability leaders. And their engineering philosophy, especially with the Skyactiv engine and chassis technology, is genuinely clever, squeezing out better fuel efficiency and a noticeably more engaging driving feel without resorting to complicated turbocharging setups or exotic materials that tend to raise long-term repair risk. Here's the smart buyer insight that really matters, though. Mazda's resale value has improved significantly over the last decade, as word has spread about their build quality and reliability. A decade ago, buying a Mazda meant accepting a bit of a depreciation hit compared to a Honda or Toyota. That gap has narrowed substantially. In some segments, it's nearly closed entirely. That means less depreciation shock if you decide to sell or trade in a few years down the line, which is exactly the kind of detail that separates an emotional car purchase from a calculated one.
Mazda is, in a lot of ways, the value play everyone else missed. The brand that quietly did the work to earn a spot at the smart money table without the decades of brand name recognition that Toyota and Honda have built up. For buyers willing to look past badge prestige, it's often the pick that delivers the most car and the most enjoyable one to drive for the money. Number 5, and this one represents a genuine shift from a decade or two ago, Kia and Hyundai. If you're picturing these two brands the way they were marketed in the early 2000s, cheap, plasticky, disposable transportation, you're working with outdated information. And that outdated perception is actually part of why this pick counts as a smart people secret. A huge chunk of the market still hasn't updated its mental model of these brands, which keeps prices lower than the actual quality would suggest. Here's what's actually changed. Design has gotten dramatically sharper. Kia in particular has invested heavily in an in-house design language that regularly gets cross-shopped against vehicles costing considerably more. Interior quality has climbed steadily, with materials and tech features that used to be exclusive to luxury trims now standard on mid-range models. And reliability ratings, which used to lag behind the Japanese brands significantly, have closed much of that gap in independent long-term dependability studies. But here's the detail that really matters for the smart money crowd, and it's the one most casual buyers completely overlook. The warranty coverage on Kia and Hyundai vehicles is some of the most generous in the entire industry, often extending years and tens of thousands of miles beyond what competitors offer on the powertrain specifically. Think about what that actually means from a risk perspective. A warranty isn't a favor the manufacturer is doing you, it's a financial bet. Manufacturers have actuaries and engineers who calculate exactly how often their vehicles are likely to need major repairs, and they price their warranty terms accordingly. When a manufacturer is willing to cover your engine and transmission for years longer than the industry standard, that's not generosity. That's the company putting its own money on the line because its internal data says the risk of a costly failure is low. Smart buyers read that as a genuine confidence signal, not just a sales pitch buried in fine print. It's one of the only places in the car buying process where you get to see in dollar terms exactly how much the manufacturer trusts its own engineering. Combine that warranty confidence with strong feature for price value, more tech, more space, and more comfort per dollar than a lot of comparably priced competitors. And it's easy to see why Kia and Hyundai keep showing up on smart money shortlists, especially among buyers who did the reliability research rather than relying on decades-old brand reputation. Let's recap the 5. Toyota, the gold standard of dependability. Honda, efficient engineering, cheap long-term ownership. Lexus, luxury without the luxury brand maintenance trap. Mazda, the value play with premium feel. Kia Hyundai, dramatically improved reliability, industry-leading warranties. Notice the pattern? None of these are about flexing. They're about minimizing surprises, maximizing resale value, and keeping more money in your pocket over the life of the car. So, did your car make the list? Drop it in the comments. And if it didn't make the cut, tell me why I'm wrong. I read every comment on these videos. If you want more videos breaking down the actual numbers behind car ownership, not just vibes, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.